Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 17, Wrongs Darker Than Death or Night. Dukat tells Kira a distasteful "your mom" joke, which turns out to be true. What did you think of this one?
So, how many episodes in a row now have we had that are okay? This continues a trend. Okay at best.
I thought it was decent. I think okay is a bit harsh. There's a few things about this that I find odd.
I want to hear the odd things.
Well, they have a time travel orb.
Yep, I couldn't get over that.
That is such a hard pill to swallow at this stage.
It completely cheapens how special time travel should feel. And yet it seems totally mundane. Kira is convinced, oh yeah, I'll go check out the orb, time travel, it'll be fine. It shouldn't be like that. So Bajorans could freely time travel, I guess.
With that kind of power, they never should have been occupied.
The one thing that always comes up when people talk about time travel is, oh, I'd go back and kill Hitler. Why don't the Bajorans go back and kill their Hitler?
Well, I was going to get on to that. Yeah, she has literally the chance to kill Hitler. Oh, he's not actually Hitler, but essentially Hitler. I just don't buy that she would back out of it.
I didn't buy that either. She has seething hatred for Dukat and what he's done and how the Bajorans have suffered.
She was also deeply angry at her mother, and if anything, that recording would almost seem like her death would be saving her. I mean, she died anyway, so it's 6 1/2 dozen. I don't know, I just don't buy that she wouldn't bomb Dukat.
Maybe she is starting to believe it wasn't Dukat's fault, or that...
No, that she has no love for Dukat in any sense. She treats his words like poison.
There's no evidence for this in the episode, but maybe she thought someone would simply take his place right after it and it wouldn't do anything. But I think she would kill him.
She says later on to Sisko that she believes genuinely that her mother was a collaborator, so or near enough. So the ending is not very good.
All that scene did at the end with her and Sisko was convince me that she would have killed Dukat. She would have gone through with it, not backed out like she did.
It definitely felt like an excuse put in there by the writers to justify what had happened.
Except it made it worse.
That's why they call an excuse rather than just a reason. I hadn't finished moaning about the time travel orb, though.
Oh, sure, let's get back to that.
So could she actually change the past? It seemed like she could.
That's the impression I got.
At first I thought it was a quantum leap sort of thing, where she was inhabiting someone.
Oh, yeah, I thought that too. And then when it was clear that that wasn't the case, I thought maybe this is some sort of reenactment thing where she can't impact what happened, but she can interact with it somehow. But whatever, she's time traveling and she's placed there, and it's weird.
Oh, they've actually had the Orb of Time before, haven't they? Yeah, that was in Trials and Tribulations. So, in that case, it did take them back to the past.
Yes.
So they shouldn't have used that plot device from a goofy comedy episode. A good goofy comedy episode, but nonetheless a comedy episode. They shouldn't use that in this, which is of a much more serious nature.
Where Kira contemplates murdering her mother.
Indeed, it doesn't gel so well. In Trials and Tribulations, you can say, oh, they went back in time and now they're doing time stuff and whatever because it's comedy. Here, we need to know the rules. We need to know if she can kill the cat. It's her will, her own. Is she inhabiting someone? Is this just a vision? We don't know.
Another rule I wanted to know was what determines when she goes back. She didn't have any kind of trinket or something, and it just happened. I don't understand.
Yeah, what if she died in the vision? I guess she would die for real because it's real time travel.
She seemed not concerned at all about her well-being, and you could say that's because of her determination to see this through, but it felt like she didn't care because she would be zapped back to the present. I didn't get a sense of danger during this, even though it involves a bomb plot.
If they had stated up front, for example, when she asks Cisco for permission to use the magic time machine, if he had said, you could alter the past, you could die. Well, he did kind of say, oh, you shouldn't change the past. But saying you shouldn't isn't saying that you can. I have no reason to believe Cisco is an authority on what the Orb of Time is capable of. If he had said, you could change the past with that, I know because I've read the user manual for it. You mustn't do that. It could be more explicit in what the rules are. That would have helped because the first good chunk of the episode was a bit confusing. We're so used to orbs just providing visions that it's weird this one was not a vision, but an interactive experience.
Could we both be wrong and it is just a vision?
But it can't be a vision of what really happened. Because she decided not to bomb her mom to death. If it was just a vision of what someone else did during that time, they wouldn't have had that reaction. She states at the end that it was her willful choice not to do it, so it's definitely interactive.
At first, I thought they were going to pull a Back to the Future where Ducat would fall for Kira when he's supposed to fall for Kira's mother, and then that's why he has a thing for her later. But that's stupid, and I'm glad they didn't do that.
Either way works, though. This kind of explains why Ducat had a thing for Kira. Did you notice that Ducat was still on the shuttlecraft?
No, I didn't.
The one he stole in Waltz. It had the Federation computers in the background.
That's a nice little detail.
He's been living on that thing, I guess, since that episode.
He has nowhere else to go.
He's a transient.
Why couldn't the computer identify him?
What do you mean?
When the transmission was incoming, Kira asked, "Who is it?" And then it said, "Could not identify," or whatever it says. Well, how can you not identify Ducat? He has such a distinctive voice.
I thought it just looked up the phone number. It just came
Oh.
from an unrecognized number, or there
Private
was
caller.
no caller ID.
He was using a burner phone.
Yeah, was this the wire now? I don't know why she didn't just hang up on him immediately.
Part of her thought it was true.
She'd always suspected deep down that Ducat had secretly been in with her mom.
Sure.
I don't buy it.
How long does it take him to start revealing personal information? Because later she mentions, oh, he knew things he shouldn't know. So that's what hooked her.
He could have cold read half of that. Oh, I see you've got lilacs. She loved lilacs. Yeah, you can see them. Just guess. That's anyone could bet on that. So I guess if you strip away the first sort of 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of this episode, the inner section I thought was generally quite decent.
Yeah, shave off the ends, the gooey center. There's good stuff there.
It's quite a heavy subject for them to tackle on Star Trek.
I'm glad it ended up being true and not some silly thing that Ducat made up to try to get into Kira's mind. It's way more difficult to process this being true for Kira.
I get the feeling they'll just sweep it under the rug like so many life-shattering things they apply to these characters and then forget about. Although it would be good if next time Ducat meets Kira, he tries to get her to call him Dad or something.
Or trots out that boorish line.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that wouldn't be cool. It would be uncool, but it kind of, I could imagine Ducat doing that.
There are some severely uncool scenes in this episode. There's a scene that made me so uncomfortable. Seeing those Cardassian men feel up those women, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable. These are women that are taken from their families and made to serve these men. It shouldn't feel okay, and it feels really gross, and they did a good job with that.
Oh, it's nightmarish. Ugh. It made me appreciate the wordy episode title. Often they give these overly wordy episode titles that are kind of just silly. But I felt this one was kind of fitting.
It's a good title, and I often do not think that about the titles.
Title is a quote from Prometheus Unbound by Percy Shelley.
Didn't know that.
I'm sure this work measures up.
Is it a poem about Cardassians and Bajorn's oppression?
It's a 4-act lyrical drama. And it does not mention Cardassians.
What about time-traveling orbs?
I haven't read it, so can't say for sure.
So that's a maybe.
Yeah, that's a maybe. Maybe it does.
Kira seemed unfazed when she was consoling her mother, who died before she formed any lasting memories of her. That's a strange situation to be in, but, well, she handles all kinds of stuff all the time, so maybe this was nothing for her.
There was a lot of heavy stuff which she didn't seem too bothered about.
Yeah. Just seeing herself as a child. Oh, so cute. Moving on.
Her family got mugged and she punched the muggers. I was a little disappointed that she just punched them.
What did you want? For her to punch them twice?
Well, that would have been good. Got a full Damar treatment on them. No, It would have been nice. I don't know why I thought this, but it would have been nice to see her reason them down. She's very passionate about the Cardassians being the enemies and treating Bajorans with respect, no matter who they were. She was devastated when she had to kill a Bajoran during the occupation, and when Odo killed some innocent Bajorans. But here, no, she just punching them. Yeah, whatever. I can't reason with you guys, so I'll just punch you.
Maybe because they were raging racists. How they use the slur spoonheads, which made me laugh.
It's not the first time they've used it on this show.
Oh, it's not? It's the first time I noticed it.
No, they used it in Things Past, where they go back to the occupation.
Okay.
And they used it in Empok Nor, when the Cardassians and Garrick are hunting the Starfleet guys. One of them mutters something about spoonheads in the background.
It's good because, of course, they would have slurs, but then at the same time, it sounds benign. So you can get away with saying it. It doesn't sound like it's bad.
It's like a playground insult.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Cardassian, so I'm saying that from a point of non-Cardassian privilege.
They really hate spoons.
Do they? Why would they hate spoons? Just because it looks like their head.
It enrages them.
How do they eat soup?
Sporks.
That doesn't... You can't eat soup with that. You should have said straw.
Yeah, you can. Straw? Okay. What about the chunky bits?
Use a fork. They have a half straw, half fork. A strawk.
The only way to consume soup, and that's why they hate spoons. Spoons are pedestrian.
Spoons are racist.
Only racists use spoons.
Have we ever seen a Cardassian using a spoon on this show?
Never, and we never will.
Is this going to be the new Worf Sears?
The search for spoons.
It's weird this episode used war crimes as a kind of background plot element. The comfort woman sort of thing, and the Cardassian party where they're selecting them and all that. That was all almost by the by.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think they need to say it's terrible, but Kira seemed to not really have an opinion on this. I mean, okay, she probably knew it happened and so on, but it's really shocking. And then she's just concerned about her mom, so I'm kind of left thinking, hey, what about all this awful stuff? And then I guess that when she doesn't kill the cat at the end, that plays into it. Because after seeing all the stuff that goes on, I think a lot of people definitely would want to kill the cat.
Yeah.
There are lines you don't cross, and he was going way past them. They all were.
She never acknowledges it.
Yeah, but maybe she knew all about it and stuff, but as the viewer, it's kind of maybe not a surprise, but it's shocking to see, and there's no one playing the part of the viewer's reactions.
We have no outlet for release. We get all this tension from this disturbing scene, and no one is saying anything, so we're left on our own saying, this is awful, someone needs to say something, while Kira is playfully guiding a guy away from her quarters who would want to rape her.
Pretty much. It's, yeah. The idea of tackling Cardassian use of comfort women, so-called comfort women, women in sexual slavery, especially involving one that's a relation of a character, it was a very heavy subject, but it's good. But they kind of just don't really address it. It's just there in the background. It's sort of, the plot is mom first and war crimes second, when, as the viewer, we're not invested that much in Kira's mom, but we are staunchly against war crimes. I mean, I am. Not sure about you.
Yeah. All these women have been sold into sexual slavery, but no time for that. Ducat is looking at my mother.
Well, that's bad too. Just, is that more bad than the whole thing?
No.
It's just a heavy subject, and they take it at a slightly bizarre angle, and there's no form of resolution. Well, especially because the cat never gets blown up, which makes sense because you can't remove one of the main antagonists from the plotline. But there's no comeuppance. But worse than that, no one even acknowledges at any point that this is terrible.
You mentioned that perhaps Kira already knew about this. Even still, she has a look of disgust when she sees Ducat and her mother kiss. Just seeing it, confronting it, being right before her eyes. That should still elicit some kind of response.
Yeah, you can read about the horrible things that happened in war all you like, but being right in the middle of it is not going to suddenly be blasé because you've read about it. I don't know, maybe she was just bottling it up to look strong. But it just leaves all the tension on the viewer.
Yeah, which makes it all feel lopsided.
It would be okay if the ending had resolved the tension. I'm not saying that Kira can go back and solve all the war crimes and all the horrible things that have happened. At the same time, she shouldn't ignore them. Not that she was ignoring them, but she didn't. Well, she kind of was ignoring them. I don't know. I don't know. It's good to see they're tackling heavy stuff. I just think they jumped into the deep end a bit with this one.
They didn't tackle it though, it was the background.
They kind of tackled it. Kira's mom was a reflection of what happened to these women, except not really, because she got massively preferential treatment. It's a mishmash of heavy stuff and a slightly unemotional mom plot that doesn't mix too well at the end, especially considering that the ending is questionable on behalf of Kira's motives and so on. It would have been nice if she'd just let the bomb go off, but it didn't kill them.
What if it went off and it killed her mother and then not Ducat and then she had to live with that?
Then, at the end, she could be upset about all the horrible things she saw and provide some release. But she should have set a bomb. The cat was right there. She had the chance. And in Waltz, he already said he got bombed a month into his prefecture, and he survived. So it would fit if she did set the bomb off and he survived anyway.
Oh yeah.
It all lines up with what he says in Waltz. Gosh, anyway, this is a depressing cast. Well, it's a heavy episode. So you have a lovely, light-hearted, and uplifting quote for us to hear.
We all have scars of one kind or another. Maybe, but most aren't quite so evident.
It only took 20 seconds to fix with the dermal regenerator.
Which means there's a quick fix for any of life's problems.
That's not the lesson.
Aw.
The lesson is that Bajoran collaborator guy was an idiot because he said, "Oh, I'll dispose of her." No, it just takes 2 seconds to fix.
That was so weird. It's as if he had no idea of the technology of the time.
Well, he maybe didn't. I do like that we all have scars of one kind or another. You don't know what kind of baggage people are carrying.
It is interesting, and then there are scars that people wish they didn't have, even though it informed choices they made and helped them out in other ways. It's an interesting thing.
I guess you could say the cat's use of the thermal regenerator was a metaphor for him becoming the new scar on Kira's mom. What's her name? On Naru's life.
So he's a walking scar.
Just like in The Lion King.
Was Scar his real name, or did they call him that after he got a scar over his eye?
I've always wondered that.
It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. They named him Scar. Ah, he got a scar. Ah, perfect.
Yeah, things didn't turn out so well for his little brother, beheaded. We should move on to the next episode.
I hope it's better than okay.
I hope it's toned a little nicer. If they put heavy stuff in, I hope they address it. I hope it's wonderful. Could really do with a cheery episode.
Yeah, we need something. I need to laugh.
Maybe it'll be a Ferengi jaunt. Oh no, wait, you said you need to laugh.
Yeah, I need to laugh, not be tortured.
Okay, right. Well, we'll only find out we're watching it.
Okay.